On this, From the Professionals, Studio 24 sits down with Chandra Bourne, owner of Cast Images Talent Agency. We're going to ask the tough questions, the things you, the actor, have always wanted to know, but were too afraid to ask. We'll go over the submission process, the interview, the do's and don'ts, common misconceptions, and the important role a talent agent plays in your career. So come along with us for the inside scoop. Cast Images is a full-service licensed talent agency representing models and actors of all ages. They're located in Sacramento, but they cover the whole Northern California market with a special focus on the San Francisco Bay Area. For a talent submitting to an agent, what's the most common way that you'll find talent?
Well, we've been around a long time, so people kind of know us in the area, which is great. So we get a lot of submissions online, which is what we prefer for people to do. Mm-hmm. And then we also get a lot of referrals from our current talent or from people who know us or see us on social media and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We also do scout out in the community, but mostly it's from people just coming and submitting directly to us.
How many submissions are you actually getting from talent?
Well, it's a lot because I look at every single one myself.
Okay, I think that's good for everybody to know. You
Yeah.
actually are looking at every single submission that comes through.
Every single submission. Now, some I don't get very far with because I immediately open them and there's something that just tells me no. Maybe it's a horrible photo or horrible email or whatever. But I do at least look at every single one.
Right.
And then
to what extent?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some I look at more closely than others, but we get a lot. I would say it's probably, some days it might be 3, some days it might be 20. It just depends on the day.
That's per day?
Yeah.
You said there are some automatic no's. You said horrible pictures. What are we talking about when we're talking about horrible pictures?
Well, I can look past a horrible photo. Like if somebody, the photos, you don't have to be a professional photographer. That's fine. What I'm thinking is more somebody who just clearly doesn't have any clue about the industry. Like maybe the photos are super sexy, more like they should be,
in a different industry.
Yeah, exactly. That would be an automatic no.
Yeah.
Somebody who has no concept of kind of where they fit in the industry. Maybe they want to be a supermodel and in reality they're 5'2". And then just things like just the tone of their cover letter or their submission. If somebody says something like, I'm going to be the next big star and you have to take me, and that kind of language will really turn me off. Parents who are overly the same kind of thing. Just that over eagerness. It's hard to explain, but
yeah, I think in part of that, it shows that they don't understand how the business works.
Exactly.
They're going to come right in and somehow make you a ton of money, and all they need is the shot.
Right. Exactly. So just things like that. It's it's like any other business where you want to work with people that are pleasant to work with, and who kind of get it. And so if you can really quickly tell from their submission that that's not the case, then I'm not going to go any further.
What about experience? Is that taking into consideration? Is it different for modeling than acting, or does it depend on what division they want to be in? How does experience play into the whole thing?
It does definitely depend on the particular submission. I'd say for our fashion division, they don't have to have experience because a lot of the girls are coming in at 14, 15 years old. They've never done this before. That's totally fine. It's really just based on what they look like.
Yeah.
But for actors, they need to have experience. At the very minimum, they have to have had some on-camera training.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to have a professional headshot, although it makes a huge difference because it's one less thing that we have to have them go do.
Okay.
So the more experience, I love to see film experience, definitely theater experience, and on-camera training experience are all really important.
Is there a difference between quantity over quality of work, and how do you feel about what that resume looks like coming in?
Again, it's on a case-by-case basis. If it's a young person who's submitting, I'm not expecting them to have a ton of credits. But if you're 40 years old and have been in the business for a while, then I'm definitely going to look at the quality of what you have.
Maybe they're sending in a lot of stuff. There's a lot of student films and extra work.
Exactly.
You're going to wonder why they haven't put in the work to obtain some higher quality projects.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely look for extra work. And it's fine to have done a couple things. If you've never been on set, it gives you a chance. But if it's somebody who consistently is kind of like a career extra, then that's not good.
Yeah. What would the perfect agent submission look like? If something comes through and you're like, look at this person.
Yay.
What is it? Yeah, what is it that has that yay factor of they get it, or what does that look like?
Well, for the acting division, it's definitely somebody who has sort of done their homework before they've come to us, which is what I love about you guys, because when we get submissions from you, all those boxes are checked. So, for instance, we just signed a person from you this week, and he already had his headshots. He already had a demo reel. He had on-camera training. He had his SF casting account set up. Like, all that stuff was already done. And he also had a really good sense of where he fit in the industry. When I asked him, where do you see yourself? Like, he was spot on with that. So to me, that's a submission I'm really excited about.
What is that interview process like? If you actually decide, okay, we're gonna bring this person in, let's meet them face to face, what happens from there? What happens behind the closed doors during that interview process?
Well, first of all, if they make it to that point, that's great. Because of how many submissions we do get for the acting division, I maybe will interview 1 or 2 a week. And then out of those, we sign maybe a couple a month. So it's definitely a weeding out process. So just getting to the interview is great. And then it's basically, what I'm looking for is, like, it's yours to lose at that point as an actor. Like, are you going to do anything that's going to make me say no, first of all? Or are you going to, on the other side, do something that's going to make me say, wow, yes, this person's even better than what I thought. So I basically have them come in, I have them prepare a commercial, read ahead of time. I ask them to pick something that's appropriate for them, for their type.
Okay, so that's another test right there.
Exactly.
Are they picking something that's appropriate for themselves? Okay.
Yeah. And then, is it prepared? You know, are they really going to come in and have it down?
And that would let you know how they're going to be preparing, I guess, for their auditions when they go out. So you, I mean, you have to put your stamp of approval on a talent before they go out, because they're going to directly reflect on what the agency looks like as a whole. So you throw them through the ringer in the process.
Well, and part of the submission process is exactly that. That's why we make people submit online, do it a certain way, ask for certain things, because it's all sort of hoops. That we're having them jump through. And
they don't know it. They just think they're submitting.
And they might think, well, why do I have to do it this way? Why can't I just come knock on the door? But part of it is, we really do have to vet you and see, is this someone that we can count on to be professional, to send out to our clients and to the casting directors and know that they're going to do a good job and act like the professionals that they need to be.
They prepare the commercial, they make it through that process. What is it from that point?
Well, I talk to them quite a bit about their availability when they come on, because that's a huge thing in Northern California. We have talent who live in Sacramento and talent who live in San Francisco, but I would say at least 90% of the auditions are in San Francisco. So they have to be available on next day notice to audition there. And if they can't do that, then it's not somebody I can sign. So that's a big thing, is talking about schedule. And again, just getting a sense of, when they walk in the room, are they somebody you want to spend time with? Is a client going to want to be with them on set all day and then hire them back again? So it's those little things too. If it's a young person, or the parents easy to deal with?
I think that can be a huge part of it.
So we do that, and then we send them, we take some digitals. Sometimes I'll take a quick little video of them with my phone, just so I can look back on it later. And then we send them off, and then we talk it over as a team here in the office, because we all want to decide on every single person who comes in. And we also want to make a plan for, what are we going to do with this actor? What type of things are they going to go out on? What kind of development do they need? Just sort of, where do we see them with our clients? And if we don't feel like we can do all those things, and it's not someone we sign, even if they seem great. If they're not somebody we can get work for, then there's not a point. So then after that, if we're interested, then we give them a call and call them back in and do paperwork and that kind of stuff.
Can you just speak on actors' materials, models' materials?
Well, I think their materials are one of the very most important things that they have. And the reason is, everything now is done online. Everything's submitted online. Everything we do goes to the casting directors or the clients online. And then they have to get requested for every single audition. So if their materials aren't strong, they're just not even going to get called in. When we submit for a part, we might submit 15 people, and they might call 5 in for an audition. So even right there, if your materials aren't great, you're not even going to get called into the casting. So all of the things are important. Headshots are crucial. I love for them to have different looks in their headshots, so we can submit different things depending on what the role is.
For different character types.
Absolutely. Yeah, that works great. The demo reels are wonderful. I think they're especially useful for getting an agent, because then I really get a sense of the person before they come in, which is great. We do divide them up into little clips to use for casting directors too, so that works great. The resume is obviously important. Yeah, it's all important. It's all presenting yourself as a professional. And the clients know the difference, and they can't help but respond to someone who has professional materials, because
Right.
that's like a sign to them that, okay, this person gets it and at least has a certain level of understanding of the industry.
Yeah, I think you can tell, from somebody's materials if they know what they're doing or if they don't know what they're doing. I hear a lot of talent talk about not needing a talent agent, or that they'll go get jobs on their own and I don't need an agent. And it always, when I hear that, it boggles my mind. But in your own words and from your point of view, why is it that somebody would need a talent? And how do those jobs differ from the jobs that they're maybe seeing on their own? Because they can have their own casting profiles on SF Casting, and they're thinking, well, I can get my own jobs and I don't have to pay an agent commission. Yeah. Can you speak to that a little bit about what are the benefits of having an agent, and if there's a difference between the jobs that you guys see and the jobs that they see?
Definitely. I think the biggest reason to have an agent is that you have an advocate for you. You have someone in your corner. When you are working directly with casting directors or with clients, it's not that they're bad people or they're trying to do something against you or anything like that. It's just that their loyalty and their responsibility is to their side of the business,
right,
not to you. And an agent, our responsibility is to the talent, and always being on your side, making sure everything's done correctly for you. So one thing that we spend a ton of time on as agents is releases and usage. So many of the jobs out there are unlimited use, where
Right.
you get paid a certain amount and then they get to use that however they want, for however long they want, in any way they want. And those are things that we don't do here
Right.
at the agency. And we, comb through the paperwork, all that kind of stuff, to make sure that the usage matches up to what it's supposed to be. And you get more money depending on what they use it for. If they're using it for, a local broadcast commercial versus a national one, or different markets, or if then it's going on social media or on the web, or, all of that stuff is negotiable by agents, which is important.
Yeah.
The other thing is that things like direct cast, while they can be exciting for actors because it's like, ooh, I have access to stuff myself. A lot of the stuff that is on there, it's because the agents won't work on it. Because it's unlimited use, because the rate isn't correct,
Right.
because it's maybe films that aren't vetted, that kind of thing. We basically call those kind of casting services, they're kind of like Craigslist, because no one is really checking out the clients and that kind of thing. It's sort of, anything can post on there, basically.
So it's the quality of the work, it's the pay on the jobs, usage, like you said. They're going to try to go to a talent, maybe a client, and get them to do a day's worth of work for $300 with a complete buyout. And then it also creates a conflict for that talent, and they don't even realize it.
Well, that's a huge thing. When somebody comes in and has been working on those kind of sites themselves, the first thing I always ask them is what kind of projects they've been doing.
Right.
And sometimes they'll be all excited and they're like, oh, I've done all these commercials, da 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 da. And I'll say, well, what's the usage on those commercials? They either have no idea or
Right.
they've been buyouts, and now suddenly I can't really even sign that person because there's no clients we can submit them to. Because they've done baking, they've done pharmaceutical, they've done, all these different categories.
Yeah.
And so what's left?
Right, so now they've got a conflict that another client wants to put them in for athletic apparel, and they've already done athletic apparel and signed on the dotted line, which then means they could potentially have a conflict for
Forever.
life.
Yeah, and I understand that people want to use those services because they're trying to get experience. And I see that it can be a catch-22 for an actor. Well, if I don't have experience, an agent won't take me.
Right.
So what I would suggest is do independent films, do student films, do things that are not advertising based.
Right.
Stay away from advertising.
I think that's really good advice. A lot of those things that are posted on some of those casting networks, they're not looking at these projects and going, this is legitimate, this is going to be a safe opportunity, anybody can create a profile, anybody can post a project. And I think that a lot of the times, if they are looking to take advantage of talent, they're not going to deal with agents. They want the talent that doesn't know anything. And so I think the agent is here for the talent's protection as well, making sure that the opportunities that they are going in for are legitimate and safe and right.
Yes, for sure.
What about myths in the business? Is there anything that actors think, or they have this idea of what an agency is or the business, that we can clear up?
Yeah, actually a really good one.
Okay.
I think this is the biggest misconception that people have, is that once you get an agent, like, you're at the finish line. You know, and in actuality, you're at the starting gate. They think, oh, I've got an agent. Now I can just, I can sit back and just wait for the calls to come in.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's not. You know, at that point now you have some access that you didn't have before, and you have somebody batting for you, but you absolutely need to step up your game and do your part. You know, there's a reason that we get a 10 or 20% commission. It's because we're doing 10 or 20% of the work, which means you need to do 80 or 90% of the work.
Right. So you think they're like sit back and it goes on autopilot and the agent's going to get all these opportunities and I don't have to do anything now.
Yeah, no.
Not how it works. Okay, good. Yeah. So we cleared it up.
Right.
Now everybody will know.
Right.
Myth busted. So I have some yes or no questions here. And we'll just rattle them through. It'll be like a speed round. I should follow up a call or stop by to check in on my agency submission.
No.
If I don't have headshots, I should just send a couple quick selfies on my iPhone.
No.
Okay. I should stop in randomly and introduce myself.
No.
Even though it says online submissions only, I should probably send a hard copy because it's more personal.
No.
Once I'm represented, I will get a flood of auditions and jobs.
No.
Okay. I'm being sent out for roles that don't fit me. I have a bad agent.
No.
I should go out for any and every role for experience regardless of pay and merit.
No.
I know better than the agent because I know myself.
No.
Any of those you want to speak to?
I would say the last one, and that is, it's really hard to be objective about yourself. We all have sort of a vision, I mean, myself included, of like what we want to look like, how we want to appear to the world, what type we want to be. And that isn't, as an actor, necessarily how you're marketable.
Right.
You know, it comes down to even which pictures you pick. Again, you're going to look at the proofs and be like, oh, that's the one that looks like what I see myself as.
Right.
But it may not be the one that clients or casting directors are going to respond to. And so I think that's where an agent can know a lot better than you do.
I agree with that. We went to some of our actors and we asked them, do you have any questions for talent agent? And so one of those questions was, how do you develop talent after getting representation? What does that development process look like and what goes into that?
Well, the first thing we do is really sit down and make a plan of where we see this person. And obviously it's going to change as time goes by. We revisit it as time goes on. But it would be, do they have the right materials? Do they have the right demo video materials? How are their auditions going? That kind of thing. And then we start tracking. Okay, how often are we submitting them? How often are they getting called in? When they do get called in, are they going? When they go, are they getting a callback? Are they getting check avails? Are they getting booked? And we see where the breakdown is in the process. So then we start working on those ratios. Okay, if you're getting submitted but you're not getting requested, what can we do to make that better? Or whatever step you're in. You're getting callbacks, but you're not actually booking it. Is there some kind of training that you can get to kind of get you over that hump?
Right.
All those kind of things. So it really is taking the data that we're given by the experience of how they're doing with auditions and jobs, and then applying that to where can we kind of tweak things and you know, get them on the right path so that they keep progressing in their career. And we keep track of every single thing. We have a booking program that we can actually look at exactly what we've done. And so we can go back and get good information from that.
Another question here. How often should represented talent contact their agent? And they said, when is it helpful and when does it become an annoyance? I think that's a pretty good question.
It is a good question because you don't want to just be completely off the radar, but you also don't want to be a pest. And what you want to think about is, number one, the people in the office at the agency are just people, just like you are. So if every time you're contacting us, it's because it's something you want, then that's not so cool. You know, and it's okay to have requests, but just remember that it's humans on the end. So, you know, how's your day going? Or bringing, like, somebody brought us a little orchid plant one day when they came in to say thank you for something. You know, those kind of things are really nice. But mostly we want professional updates. So if you're doing a show that you'd like us to go to, offer us tickets to go see it. You know, don't tell us about it and then say, but buy your own ticket, because that's probably...
make it easy.
Make it easy. Make it easy that way, because just we have so many of those kind of invitations that you want to make yours stand out. Definitely contact us when you feel like you need new materials or your career needs a boost, because we can give you referrals for that type of stuff. Let us know if you've done new training or if something's changed about you, if your hair's changed, that kind of thing. We definitely want to know about it.
Okay.
What we don't want are check-ins of, oh, I auditioned, have you heard yet? Because believe me, we're not going to sit on that information. If you've got a check avail or a callback or a booking, we're immediately on that out to you. And it feels awful for us to say, no, you didn't book it, sorry. So you want to be in contact, but the most important thing is just being available and communicating effectively for the things that we call you with. That's where the communication is the most important.
So a prompt response, get an email right back, so that everything can get scheduled and work.
And being available to go to castings, because if you weren't available, the whole process shuts down. I would say that as you're looking for an agent, you want to find somebody that you feel really comfortable with and that you feel like is a good match for you. Not everybody is a fit for us, or vice versa, or for another agency, but there might be somebody else out there who is a fit for you. It doesn't mean just because we don't take you that you can't have a career in this industry. We really look for people that are fun to work with, that we feel like are good people, and just want to do a good job and be nice people. That's really important to us. And so that's kind of what we're looking for, is just good people to come through that we enjoy working with and that we think we can help.
All right. Well, thanks very much for sitting down with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for watching From the Professionals by Studio 24. For more videos like this and all things acting, visit studio24.com/blog and subscribe to our YouTube channel.